Hello and welcome to Sundry Sports for Friday, June 26th. We begin with Cowboys Wire, brought to you by USA Today. Jets reportedly targeting La'el Collins. Should Cowboys say no? Finally, something that I haven't heard about. It's no secret that Jets safety Jamal Adams would rather play next season in Dallas than in New York. Obviously, the Cowboys would love to have him. Would love to add the All-Pro to their secondary. So what's the holdup? The Jets' understandably high asking price is still the hindrance for now. A few short months ago, the Jets reportedly wanted one of the two future Hall of Fame offensive linemen, Tyron Smith or Zach Martin, in return for Adams. Ha! Fuck that. Cowboys legend Michael Irvin once revealed that the Jets required a first and third round pick for their young star. Now, a week after their disgruntled safety officially requested a trade, the Jets may have their eyes on a different Cowboys lineman, La'el Collins. I don't hate that. I think that La'el Collins is a little bit more replaceable than Smith and Martin. Although with Frederick gone now, I don't know. This news was first brought to light by Pro Football Network's Tony Pauline, who states, "I'm told right now that the player the Jets would ask for in a trade for Adams would be right tackle La'el Collins. That's the player that they want. That's the player that they're going to target. If you're a Jets fan, you know one thing. You can't start the season with Chuma Edoga starting at right tackle." Oh, poor Chuma. Whoever he is. Collins doesn't have the pedigree of the two Dallas stalwarts mentioned above, but he is arguably just as valuable when you factor in his age, contract, and his improving on-field play. In September of 2019, Collins signed a 5-year deal with an annual salary of $10 million. The 26-year-old would go on to have the best season of his career and establish himself as one of the top right tackles in the league. Collins' contract extension is set to keep him in Dallas through 2024, and what seems like his prime, making his yearly $10 million deal a massive steal for the cap-conscious Cowboys. I don't know, it could be that his secret is the great line that he's on, the great people that he's playing with. I think that maybe we could risk putting somebody else in. Adams, the right somebody. Adams, on the other hand, requires an immediate and lofty contract extension as he enters the last year of his current deal. The contract he is reportedly seeking would land just north of $15 million annually, making Adams the highest paid safety ever. Will the already two-time Pro Bowler be worth this massive pay raise? Most likely, as Adams is just 24 years old, coming off a first-team All-Pro campaign a year ago and should only continue to improve. In the offseason, Dallas signed HaHa Clinton-Dix to replace Jeff Heath, and Xavier Woods has shown signs that he can be a starter in the NFL. But there is no question Adams would be a substantial upgrade over the two current Cowboys safeties. It's always good to have awesome depth. As far as tackle goes, there is no clear replacement for Collins on the Cowboys roster. Connor Williams, well, that's a problem there. We should have had depth there. Connor Williams played tackle in college and could slide over to fill the role. Brandon Knight was a decent fill-in during his one start at tackle a year ago, but shouldn't be trusted as more than a backup at this time. Well, when Collins first started, he wasn't very trustworthy. He fucked up a lot. He pulled a lot of penalties. That's just what's going to happen, right? Trial by fire. Tyron Smith will continue to lock down the left side of the line, but with his injury history, it's hard to tell how many years he has left in the tank. I wonder if he's still wearing a leg brace on his arm. His giant arm. Losing Collins now would be a nearly irreplaceable blow to the Cowboys' offensive line, which was responsible for a league-low 8 sacks a year ago. There are two real questions in front of the Cowboys' management. One, would Adams improve the Dallas defense enough to justify trading their emerging right tackle in his team-friendly deal, plus whatever draft compensation the Jets would require along with Collins? And two, if a trade is somehow made, does the contract extension of Adams put Dallas in too tough of a spot financially? I have a solution. We'll trade him Prescott. Going back. Can Hamilton find a role and production in Cowboys' revamped defensive line cast? The Dallas Cowboys didn't have enough depth on the defensive line in 2019. After losing Tyrone Crawford to a season-ending injury in October, the team... Is he back? Hamilton. I don't know you, Hamilton. Ezekiel Elliott. I would love to have Jamal Adams on the Dallas Cowboys. This was from yesterday. Yes. He did a quarantine interview, and he said that. Cracking the Cool Kid Club. Cody Wichmann wants spot on Cowboys' offensive line. Oh? For the better part of the past decade, the Cowboys have been known for the strength of their offensive line. What position does he play? Featuring multiple All-Pros and a bounty of first-rounders and Day 2 selections, cracking the starting lineup seemed like an impossible task for young offensive linemen looking to establish themselves in the league. However, with the Cowboys' OL in a state of transition, the odds for playing time for someone like Cody Wichmann have never been better, but he'll still have to earn it just like everyone else. Dallas ran out 9 different starting offensive linemen last season. 3 of those players, Travis Frederick, Cam Fleming, and Xavier Su'a-Filo, are now returning in 2020. Are not returning in 2020, opening avenues for playtime that typically is not available to the fringes of the roster. Enter Wichmann, the 6-year, 6'5", 28-year-old offensive guard who's made 18 NFL starts in his career. Okay, does he play left or right? Originally a 2015 sixth-round pick of the St. Louis Rams, all of Wichmann's playing time stems from his first 2 NFL seasons. He spent the 2017 and 2018 seasons on, I guess if you're a guard, it doesn't matter if you're left or right, huh? Maybe he could switch over to, what was Collins' right side? Right tackle? He spent 2017, blah, 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 before a calf injury late in the preseason ended his 2019 before it began. Wichmann will have another opportunity to claim a roster spot this season, but must overcome several other candidates to do so. Known starters, competing for 2 spots. Joe Looney, huh? Still have him. Competing for 53-man roster. Blah, blah, blah. Irving, a former first-round pick, is largely expected to be the swing tackle and earn the 8th offensive lineman spot on the roster, which will unlock the 48th spot on game day rosters. Wichmann will compete with Redmond, Henry, and Miller for the interior depth roles. But what if Collins gets traded? Too bad they couldn't have combined the information in this with what I just read a little bit ago. Regardless of the path his career takes, Wichmann has made the most of the opportunities afforded to an NFL player. Last summer, returned to his hometown Mariposa County High School to work with the football team, teaching them NFL techniques and drills. Cool beans. Said Coach Robert Stitt. It was great because some of our players had no idea who Cody Wichmann is. Then they see this big guy out there. He caught their attention really quick. Cool. News. Haha escapes bear. Stadiums to tarp off lower seating. A threat to Emmett. What day is this from? If it's Haha escaping the bear, then it's gotta be old. June 25th. Oh, it was just yesterday. Okay. The league is moving full steam ahead toward a 2020 season, but there's very little that anyone knows for certain right now. There's talk of reporting dates, tarping off lower rows of seating, and letting teams set their own attendance caps, but there's also the nagging question of whether there should be a season at all. Yes, there should be. All this while some players, including Cowboys running back Ezekiel Elliott, are still recovering after testing positive for COVID-19. So, you know what that means? That means he's not going to get it during the actual football season. That's a good thing. Elliott spent some time talking about Jamal Adams, and new safety Haha Clinton Dix spent some time running from a bear, literally. All that plus vacated targets translating to big opportunities for CeeDee Lamb and Blake Jarwin. Rookies outperforming their draft slots, getting to know Jean-Vé Johnson, Reading the close game data tea leaves, T.O. talking JJ, and could Emmitt Smith really have competition as the all-time rushing king? That's on top in this edition of News and Notes. Report. NFL players will arrive on time on July 28th. Cowboys too? It looks as if July 28th will be the on-time start for players to report to team facilities for camp. That would likely mean no early work for rookies or teams like Dallas with first-year head coaches. Ezekiel Elliott, I would love to have Jamal Adams on the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah. Regarding Jamal Adams, I remember some advice I got from Calvin Watkins when I got on the Cowboys beat. Stop asking guys from other teams if they want to play for the Cowboys. They all want to play for the Cowboys. He was right. So Adams wanting to go there isn't exactly unique. NFL, to tarp off lower rows of seats, allow teams to sell signage to local sponsors. In the latest wrinkle of what a COVID-19 NFL season might look like, teams have been told that the first 6 to 8 rows of seats, as well as on-field suites, will be tarped over on game day as a safety precaution. Those tarps will also feature ads visible only to television audiences. Yes, haha's hilarious escape from 2 bears. We can watch it if it plays, and suddenly we are on Twitter. Okie dokie. Woo! I wonder if he ever went back for his scooter. Close game data reveals the Dallas Cowboys might be poised for something big in 2020. A look at the Cowboys' point differential in wins and losses last season and how it could mean big things in 2020. Cowboys have second most vacated targets from 2019 season, leaving opportunities for CeeDee Lamb and Blake Jarwin. With only the Atlanta Falcons ahead of them in vacated targets last season, I'm guessing that's receivers who have left the Cowboys. Opportunities for success could be in abundance for rookie CeeDee Lamb and Blake Jarwin. Film room, 3 Cowboys rookies who will outperform their draft slot, including the potential steal of the entire 2020 class. Would that be CeeDee Lamb? John Owning breaks down how rookie CeeDee Lamb, Tyler Badass? Because that would be awesome. Maybe it's Biadasz, and Bradley Anae could exceed expectations this season. Terrell Owens, Cowboys Jerry Jones silent amid unrest because of Donald Trump. Why are we still talking about this? Leave the man alone. Former Cowboys receiver and Hall of Famer Terrell Owens believes Cowboys boss Jerry Jones' silence on social injustice speaks volumes. He also thinks the owner's relationship with Donald Trump plays a factor. Well, maybe it does. Maybe they're friends. I didn't know that they were friends, but if they are friends, maybe they're friends because they share similar points of view on things, and, I'm with them. Riots are bad. Destroying historical monuments is bad. Burning down buildings is bad. And it should be stopped. And the people who are doing it, and especially the people who are instigating it and facilitating it, should be in jail. That shouldn't be controversial. It really shouldn't. You should be allowed to say that if you are famous, if you're in the public eye. You should be allowed to say that without getting canceled. What's going on with defensive tackle Antwaun Woods? There were rumors that Antwaun Woods was intending to sign his tender last month. He still hasn't done so, and he hasn't received a contract extension. Speed kills, but it pumps life into Jon'Vea Johnson's roster chances. That's been a headline on the email for several days. Jon'Vea Johnson has an uphill battle to make the Cowboys roster, but his unique speed gives him a lifeline. How fast is he? Adrian Peterson hopes to play 4 more years in NFL. Isn't he still without a job? No, wait. He has a job. The 35-year-old running back hopes to play at least 4 more seasons, possibly because doing so might give him a crack at Emmitt Smith's all-time rushing total. Right now, the 7-time Pro Bowler is in 5th place and sits 4,139 yards behind Smith. Playing football in 2020 would mean prioritizing financial interests over health and safety. Which is not necessarily a bad thing. Especially would have not been a bad thing in the case of the entire economy of the country. Just saying. Fans owe it to themselves to momentarily put aside their personal desires for a fall full of game days and read this in-depth look at what forging ahead with the 2020 season during a global pandemic really means. I think you mean a global panic. NFL to allow teams to set varying fan capacity levels when season commences. It's looking like teams will get to set their own attendance caps. Some teams may play before a full house. Others may see their stands at half capacity. Some may host games in an empty stadium, and that prospect raises all kinds of questions. Should it? I mean, it's all about personal responsibility. It's all about assuming liability for yourself. If a fan wants to go see a game in person, all they have to do is understand that they are responsible for anything that happens to them, health-wise. Okay? I'm sure somebody could draw up a contract that everybody signs when they purchase tickets, saying that they acknowledge that if they get COVID-19, if they end up getting to COVID-19, that whatever team that they're watching is not liable. Whoever owns the stadium is not liable. That's really all they have to do, isn't it? Personal responsibility. Blake Bell will try to be blocking tight end in Cowboys wide receiver dominated attack. That's good. Blocking is good. Speed kills. Oh my goodness. ESPN, Cowboys Steelers Hall of Fame game canceled. Yes, it was. So sad. Cowboys news, Prescott racing with Watson, Tank talks Jerry silence. Yeah, and he was actually very reasonable. And good for him. Continuing on.